Good evening. My name is Jose Placal. Some of you know me as Willie Bachan. Some of you call me Chetan. For those of you who are unfamiliar with, Willie Bachan means eldest uncle. Chetan means brother. But today, by the power of ULC Ministries, you may all refer to me as Minister Placal. As my first day of practice as Minister Placal, I would like to first and foremost welcome each and every one of you for all joining together to celebrate the love and the union of Sanjo and Bettina. So before I go into more formal portions of this ceremony, I would like to share a short personal story of my connection to Sanjo and Bettina. I'm the eldest. Those who want to sit down, you may. Yes. Yeah. Because even though it's my short story, it might get longer.
It'll be long.
So going back to my story, I am the eldest uncle of Sanjo. And because of our close relationship, I consider this boy as like my son. So, as years went by, Sanjo and family moved to Milwaukee. But they visited us every other weekend. This brought us even closer, and Sanjo and I became great friends. Sanjo played a lot of video games with his cousins and friends, but we found time to talk about life, love, relationship, even struggles. So I shared some of my personal life experiences with Sanjo, especially how I fell in love with my late wife Alice in New Delhi. I'm sure Alice and you would have been proud of you today and joyful to see him marry Bettina. So moving forward to one Saturday afternoon, I got a call from Sanjo. And he said, I'm visiting Chicago Botanical Gardens with my friend. And he asked me if I can come over to your place with my friend. I said, absolutely. He then mentioned that this friend was actually his girlfriend, which I didn't know. So I said, no problem. Please bring her over. So after an hour or so, Sanjo arrived with Bettina. We were thrilled to meet her. While we were eating some Indian food, homemade, even though it was spicy, Bettina enjoyed it. While we were eating, they shared their story, how they met and became close. So it was clear to me then, this bond was very special. So from that first visit, Sanjo and Bettina made it a tradition to join us for our annual family Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah. I never missed it yet. Yeah, I hope you'll keep it that way. Yeah, okay. So 2 years ago, Sanjo and Bettina invited us to beautiful South Dakota while they were still working in North Dakota. So then Mom, Christina and Sister Rosemary joined our journey to South Dakota. And later on, Sanjo's cousin Roshan flew in to be with us. So we all were able to enjoy the beautiful scenery, including the Mount Rushmore. A little side note. When we came back to the hotel that night, we all got together in our room and decided to play some Uno. So while we were playing, somehow we managed to teach Bettina how to say Velapachan. So for me, it was amazing feeling that even though she couldn't really say Velapachan, but she was able to call me Velapachan the very first time. So the next day, we drove in two separate cars just to keep Sanjo's proposal a surprise from Bettina. So Sanjo, on the beautiful Badlands National Park, Sanjo got down on one knee and asked Bettina the big question. And her answer was a joyful yes. So we all were excited to be part of their proposal celebration. Well, a few months after their engagement, Sanjo and Bettina joined us again with, to share their decision. They are going to get married in June 2024. So then they asked me, Velapachan, would you officiate our wedding? I said, wow. I was thrilled and honored to accept. So here I am, Minister Prakal, to officiate the wedding ceremony of Sanjo and Bettina. Thank you all for listening to my short but was a long story. Yeah. Okay, now let's continue with the ceremony. Sanjo and Bettina, you have chosen to come together in the union, not out of a religious or traditional obligation, but because of your deep love and commitment to each other. We are honored to stand as witnesses to the human connection. Your love inspires us all. Well, you can give without loving, but you can never love without giving. The great act of love is done by those who are habitually performing small act of kindness. We pardon to the extent that we love. Love is knowing that even when you are alone, you will never be lonely again. And great happiness of life is the conviction that we are loved. Loved for ourselves and even loved in spite of ourselves. Now, we will hear a passage to celebrate this wonderful occasion, read by bride's brother-in-law, Taran. Please come forward. Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Love is a Temporary Madness by Louis de Boerner. Love is a temporary madness. It erupts like volcanoes and then subsides. And when it subsides, you have to make a decision. You have to work out whether your roots have so entwined together that it is inconceivable that you should ever part. Because this is what love is. Love is not breathlessness. Love is not excitement. Love is not the it is not the promulgation of eternal passion. That is just being in love, which any fool can do. Love itself is what is left over after being in love has burned away. And this is both an art and a fortunate accident. Those that truly love have roots that grow towards each other underground. And when all those pretty blossoms have fallen from their branches, they find that they are one tree and not two. Tina and Sanjo, today you are one tree, not two. Thank you.
Thank you, Taryn. To further extend those beautiful words, the couple have written their own vows, which now they will share with all of you. Sanjo, Bettina, your vows. Yeah.
If you just, can you hold it for me? Okay. All right.
You want me to hold it?
Yeah, just hold it towards me. All right. Writing these vows felt like a seemingly impossible task. For how do you ever properly put into words something as grand as love? Whenever my mom talks about meeting my dad, she always says he felt like home with a tear in her eye. And I always thought that phrase was so simple but beautiful. Home is something so comforting, warm, and inviting. Home is something you longingly think about and wish for when you are away. And I can confidently say that's how I feel around you. From day one, you naturally made me feel comfortable. Over the years, our connection has only grown stronger, and you make me laugh each and every day. I'm blaming you for my early onset eye wrinkles, by the way. But through all the things we've done, places we've traveled, and fun we've had along the way, none of these memories can top being home together, lying on the couch, and enjoying each other's presence. Those are the perfect moments. I still don't know how or why I got so lucky to find you. Some may say we are codependent because we like to do just about everything together. For that reason, we have had many roles in each other's lives. Besides being each other's best friend and, of course, roommates, we started as each other's lab partners, classmates, and now, most recently, coworkers. Due to this, we often will meet new people for the first time together, and seeing how people's faces gradually light up more and more, the more they get to know you, validates that I'm marrying the right man. A man who is not only naturally very charming and very handsome, but inclusive, patient, and generous. A man who, in social gatherings, makes an effort to acknowledge those who may not be universally well-liked or popular. A man who, as cliche as it sounds, I've actually seen offer to help a disabled old lady at the grocery store grab an item she couldn't reach. For those are just a few examples of the acts of kindness that show your integrity. These are traits I hope to carry to our future children someday, and traits I aspire to have. I'm not just marrying you because you always give me the last crab rangoon at restaurants, or because you give 10 out of 10 foot massages, or because of all the delicious Indian food I get at my in-laws' parties. Although I will continue to joke that that's why I'm marrying you. Those are just perks. I'm marrying you because I want to continue to grow together and witness life together. I promise to put us as a unit before anyone or anything else. I promise to always celebrate your successes and comfort you through your failures. I promise to love you as you are and not as I want you to be, unconditionally. For you have proven to me through good times and bad, through enormous patience and hard work, that you will continue to do the same. I promise to always have a sense of humor with you and laugh at your jokes, even if they're lame. I promise to continue to give you head rubs and back scratches per your request. And I promise to always be your pal, to support you, and if we're lucky enough, grow old together. I knew for a long time that we would be standing up here today eventually. After all, we did recently complete one whole game of Overcooked together. And for those of you that know anything about that two-person game, you know it's a huge relationship feat. It requires underlying values that are important in marriage, like communication, teamwork, and dealing with very high-stress environments without yelling at each other too much. So if we can get through that, we can get through anything. I have confidence in us as a pair, and I've always loved you and want you to know that's never going to change. With all that being said, it's been very, very nice to meet you. And to quote Paramore, after all this time, I'm still into you. Thank you.
Okay, now it's Sanjo's time.
I'm just going to preface this and say that my vows are not going to be nearly as good as yours or funny. But speaking of funny, let's start it off with a little bit of, humor, I guess. But Bettina, as I sat down to write my vow in the building of College of Nursing at UWM where we first met, my first thought to myself was, wow, this place hasn't changed a bit. Then I opened my laptop up and then thought maybe if I just levitate my hands over the keyboard, my vowels will just write itself on the blank screen. To my shock, it did not. So here I am. So I sat some more and naturally got distracted by this funny looking bird in the tree outside the window. And honestly, at that point, my brain lost all recollection of the task at hand, being my vows, and was more so focused on the bird in the tree flying back to its nest nearby. But eventually, I snapped back to reality to look down at the time, only to realize, well, wow, half an hour had gone by, but nothing had been written. So there I was back at square one with my hands levitating over the keyboard again, waiting for the magic to just happen. That's when I finally found the inspiration. Having stared at that bird in the tree for half an hour, it reminded me how we as beings of nature, we tend to gravitate to people or objects that bring us comfort, love, and security. For many years, my emotions had been jaded by some of my past and having to constantly deal with my emotions in our line of work. But you have made me feel emotions again. If I had to explain what it feels like, I would say it feels like being a kid again. Carefree, playful, lighthearted, and absent of any real worries. That's how you make me feel. When I'm around you, all I can think about is smiling, laughing, and squeezing you as hard as I can without breaking any ribs. We do that enough at work. I vow that our lives together will be a buffet of smiles, laughter, kisses, hugs. A buffet of smiles, laughter, kisses, and hugs are largely supplied by everything you do for me. You do so much for me. Simple, small things like scratching my itch anytime and every time I request to make sure, and also to make sure I never fall asleep without a blanket shows your very obvious commitment to keep me happy. Also, if it weren't for you, I would have nothing home cooked to eat. You cook for the both of us. You even go to lengths of packing my lunch at work every day, whether I'm going to work with you or not. Every single time. Despite forgetting to thank you every single time, you continue to do it. You're full of sacrifices. You even sacrifice your time and sleep just so you have enough time to pack for the both of us. You keep my mind and belly happy all at the same time. For this, I vow that I will be more deserving of your love by better reciprocating this love in return. I can start by reciprocating, for example, the same level of the freedom that you give me. You give me so much freedom. You seldom give me grief about doing just about whatever it is I want to do. Unlike many others out there, you don't restrict me in seeing anyone that I want to, and even more rare, you promote it. This is one of the many examples that I can think of that shows you genuinely that just what my happiness means to you. You don't question my faith or my loyalty. As you say, relationships are essentially over once you lose trust. That said, I vow to never break the trust that we have between each other because trust is what will allow the both of us to get through our darkest days. And that said, I would like to share a quote that you may recognize from our favorite show's Avatar, The Last Airbender. Love is brightest in the dark. I really learned this meaning behind those words through the progression of our relationship. From passing the state board exams together to buying a house together, traveling around the country for both work and leisure, to most recently moving across the country while planning a wedding. There were, of course, many bright days like the beautiful day that we have today, but there's no denying we had some dark times. We nevertheless persevered through these dark days despite our differences. There is no denying we are very different in many ways, and therefore disagreements are inevitable. You would think having disagreements, however, during already challenging times would further darken the dark times, but rather it only strengthened our relationship further because we learned that disagreements do not define love. Rather, perseverance, trust, and understanding define love. That is what I undoubtedly feel that I have with you, what I will undoubtedly vow that I hold with you forever. Much like that bird in the tree served, or much like the tree served as a sanctuary for the bird that inspired these words of sincerity, you serve as a home to my heart and soul. You are my anchor, my peace, my sanctuary. I love you, Bettina, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. So now all we have to decide is what to do with the time given to us. That's it.
As per the Indian tradition, the groom will now present and place the Mandragodi sari and the thali to bride as a token of his love. Make sure it's tight. So now it's going to be the Mandragodi sari. You're going to place it on the bride's head, this side front. Yeah. So now, Sanjo and Bettina, please face each other, which you are already doing. You will now be exchanging your rings. Yes, opposite.
Yeah.
Okay. Sanjo, do you take Bettina to be a lawfully wedded wife from this day forward, pledging your life, and loyalty in every season until the end of your days?
I do.
Please place a ring.
No,
You place her.
Yeah.
Good. Bettina, do you take Sanjo to be your lawfully wedded husband from this day forward, pledging your life, and loyalty in every season until the end of your days?
I do.
Please place a ring. By the power vested in me by the state of Wisconsin, I now pronounce you married, husband and wife. Sanjo and Bettina, it's been a great honor to officiate and I'm sorry.
You make it?
Yeah. You can, yeah. Sorry, I missed that. You make us. Was important one. They couldn't wait for it. Okay, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Okay. Sanjo and Bettina, it has been a great honor to officiate and participate in your wedding today. And I wish you both many lifetimes of happiness and laughter. And it is my great pleasure to present to you the very first time Mr. and Mrs. Plagal.